Good afternoon. It is News Radio 1029 KARN. I am your host, Brad Schmidt. Thanks for joining me this afternoon. 501-403-KARN, 501-403-5276. If you'd like to be a part of the discussion as we're kicking things off here on a Wednesday. It's a hump day today. I was almost going to say it's a Thursday because I feel like it's already should be the end of the week. I was mentioning to a coworker yesterday on the way out. I said I'm ready for the weekend, and it's only Tuesday. So yeah, we've got a lot going on this week. It's been a busy week. A good friend of mine called me, I think on Monday, and he said, "Hey, can you chat?" And I was like, "Sure." And it's now Wednesday, and we still haven't chatted yet. So, yeah, it's been a crazy week, but that doesn't mean we don't have anything to talk about today. It means, in fact, the exact opposite. We've got a ton to get to today, a ton to talk about. Real quick mention, tomorrow morning, 9 a.m., Dave & Buster's, $25 gets you 50 there if you want to go play some fun games. A $25 purchase gets you a $50 power card out at Dave & Buster's. That goes live tomorrow with our sweet deals on our website. And then on Friday, and I'm super excited about this one, I had Greg Long on the show here a few days back, or last week sometime, whenever it was, from Central Arkansas Karting. This goes live Friday morning at 9 a.m. 2 races, 10-minute race sessions, all inclusive, including your head sock, your pit pass, the helmet rental, all of that. $50 is the value. You only got to pay $25 for it. So that goes live Friday morning at 9 a.m. So make sure you jump on that as well. Anyway, 501-403-KRN, 501-403-5276 if you want to join the conversation today. One of the stories we're going to get to, I brought this up yesterday, the sales tax increase that Mayor Frank Scott wants to put on the ballot. Yet we hear today out of the Department of Finance and Administration that a surplus is projected once again, and not the measly $240.5 million that was originally expected, but it is now grown to be as much as $708 million budget surplus for the state of Arkansas, ending the fiscal year of 2024 that ends in June. So we're now looking at, once again, now for the third year running, we had was it 1.6 billion 2 years ago and 1.16 billion or something last year, and now we're looking at another $700 million in budget surplus. Are we ready to start eliminating some of the exorbitant and extortionate taxes in the state of Arkansas? I mean, at some point we go, okay, we're giving you too much money. Whether it's sales tax, whether it's income tax, whether it's the stupidity of property tax on a car. I mean, listen to this and hear it and understand it. We literally pay the government for the privilege of owning our own property. We literally have to pay a payment every year to the state of Arkansas for the privilege of owning our cars. Not because there is some added cost to the roads, some added cost to whatever infrastructure that we use throughout the year. It's simply because the government says, you own a car in this state, we're going to make you pay for the privilege of owning that car. And in fact, even if you don't own it, we're going to make you pay for the privilege of having a loan against it, or using it as collateral, or have gotten a lease on it or something. You have to pay us for the privilege of owning your car, much like we have to rent our homes back from the government. I don't know what my property taxes this year were a couple $1,000s, whatever it was. I'd have to go back and look it up. It's all paid by my escrow account, so I don't really pay much attention to it. But we have this issue with property taxes that we do not own our property. If you own the average home in the state of Arkansas, $200 to $250 to $300,000, you have to pay the government several $100s a month, usually somewhere between $300 and $500 a month, rent on top of your mortgage that you're already paying. You have to pay an additional $300 to $500 a month to the state government for the privilege of owning your home. And now we have another report, once again for the third year in a row, a budget surplus of hundreds of millions of dollars. The last 2 years, it was over $1 billion. We need to keep cutting taxes. We need to keep eliminating taxes. I think where a great place to start would be to simply eliminate the personal property tax rate entirely. It is absolutely absurd that we have to pay the government the privilege of owning our vehicles. Now, I don't even have really high-end expensive cars. The bill that I had to pay for this year was only like $158. I'm not driving around in $100,000 supercars or anything fancy at all. I think my valuation for my cars was under $3,000. Now, that's of course not the actual retail or trade-in value of those cars, but for the purposes of property taxes, the valuation was like $3,000. That was the taxable value of my cars. Now, I get that $158 is not that big of a deal, and it's not that big of a deal to most people. But the fact that we are sitting on, or expected to be sitting on, once again, another $700 million in surplus in the budget. Why am I paying those taxes? What is it for? To sit in a government bank account somewhere earning interest? It's time we start standing up and telling the legislature, you clearly are overtaxing the American or the Arkansan citizens. It's time for you to start giving us back access to our money. That $700 million surplus does not belong to the government. In fact, the government doesn't have any money unless they first take it from us. So every penny of that $708.1 million projected surplus belongs to us. It belongs to we the people. It was paid through our sales tax. It was paid through our income tax. It was paid through our property taxes, our personal property taxes. It was paid through a multitude of other taxes and fees and regulations that we have to turn over our hard-earned money to the government. And then you've got this idiot in the mayor's office saying, we don't have enough. We need to increase it by more. If the legislature can create that kind of a budget surplus across the state, the fact that Mayor Scott and the city board of directors are unable to, or are in deficit, or whatever they've got going on, clearly proves that they don't know what they're doing. Because the money in Arkansas is not the problem. It is clear that spending is the problem. And I'm sick and tired of every time I turn around, somebody else has their hands in my pockets, expecting me to pay for something that I don't either support, don't want to be a part of, or get no benefit from. Simply because, well, you're a good citizen of the country, you need to be okay with being raped by the government every other week. You need to be okay with being forced for eternity to rent your property that you paid for out of your blood, sweat, and tears, to rent it from the government. I don't know if anybody in the state legislature is listening, But if you're sitting on a $700 million surplus, the third time in a row, we've now had a multi-$100 billion or $100 million surplus. That money either better get back in our pockets through some sort of refund, or you need to start eliminating taxes. And the first vote in the next session is some way to eliminate one of the burdensome taxes levied by the state, the counties, the cities. Somebody needs to have that purse string tightened up a little bit. Because if you're sitting on that much extra money, it's time for us to get our money back. And somebody needs to start getting serious about this. There's more to get to. We'll continue with the Schmidt Show, but for now, that's what you ought to know. It's News Radio 1029 KRN.